Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 36. Dyutam chalayatam tejas tejasvinamaham jayosmi vyavasayosmi sattvam sattvavatamaham. Actually, the reason why I just mentioned about the pronunciation, there's actually a nice verse from Varaha Puran which says, Murkho vadati Vishnaya, dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardana. That means a person who is illiterate in Sanskrit, he would say Om Vishnaya Namaha. Like Om Kṛṣṇāya Namaha or Om Baladevaya Namaha. He may say Om Vishnaya Namaha, but that's actually wrong because Kṛṣṇa is ending with A. So when you say to Kṛṣṇa, my respectful obeisances, Kṛṣṇāya. But Vishnu is ending with U. So that comes actually Vishnave, not Vishnaya. So this verse says that Murkho vadati Vishnaya. The Murkha, or who is illiterate, who does not know the rules, he may say Vishnaya. And the Dhiro vadati Vishnave. The person who is educated, he may say Vishnave. But Ubhayostu samam punyam. Both will get the same merit, punya. Why? Bhavagrahi Janardana. Janardana or Krishna is Bhavagrahi. He is not so concerned about how meticulously you pronounce it. He captures he takes your bhava, with what bhava you said. So it doesn't matter whether one is illiterate or literate or correct or wrong pronunciation. But the reason why I mentioned about the pronunciation, we should try our best. Devotion means, it does not mean that I can do whatever I like. My bhava is there. Bhava means with how much effort did I actually put into not only chant, but also to serve, to understand, to advance ourselves, apply ourselves in this process. How sincerely are we coming into the process? The sincerity of purpose is what is essential in the whole process. So, if I can pronounce, if I can put in some effort with some help from those who know how to pronounce, then if I can put some effort, then I should put some effort. Oh, Krishna said, Vishnaya or Vishnu, it doesn't matter, we can pronounce anything. Okay, yes, that's true. But Bhavagrahi Janardana. So what is our bhava? Am I actually serious enough to, okay, let me try. That's one thing. Number two is because when we are chanting these shlokas, eventually we have to come to this point where as we are chanting those shlokas, we must know what we are chanting. Just like in your mother tongue or in any language that you know, when you speak something, when the words are coming out of your mouth, you exactly know what you're saying. Right? It's not that some sounds are coming out and you don't know what you're saying. So usually that's what happens when we chant Sanskrit, because we're not trained in that language in our school and in our education system. So when we chant something, we are switched off in our connection to what it actually means. With pronunciation, you can actually sometimes, if you're most of your, from India, you can actually make some connections even with your vernacular, with your mother tongue. Some words will be similar. You can, that's similar to my word, my language. So you can make some connections. And also sometimes if the pronunciation is a little bit different, the meaning sometimes really changes. Like for example, Vasudev and Vasudev. Different. Vasudev is the father and Vasudev is the son of Vasudev, Kṛṣṇa. So like that. So it helps us understand the meaning better. So if we can, we should have put some effort. All right. So Dyutam, gambling. Chalayatam, of all cheats. Asmi, I am. Teja, the splendor. Tejasvinam, of everything splendid. Aham, I am. Jaya, victory. Asmi, I am. Vyavasaya, enterprise or adventure. Asmi, I am. Sattvam, the strength. Tattvavit dāsa, of the strong. Aham, I am. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Please repeat. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Kṛṣṇa. As the Supreme, Kṛṣṇa can be more deceitful than any mere man. The unfortunate commentator who wants to cheat Kṛṣṇa and the public by saying that there is something greater than Kṛṣṇa is cheated by Kṛṣṇa, and the commentator cannot understand Kṛṣṇa after any length of time. If Kṛṣṇa chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous, and among the strong, he is the strongest. When Kṛṣṇa was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating, no one can surpass him in splendor, no one can surpass him in victory, no one can surpass him in enterprise, and no one can surpass him in strength. So, for those who are new, the context is that this chapter, Kṛṣṇa is describing his greatness from the viewpoint of what we can perceive in this world. How great Kṛṣṇa actually is, we may not be able to immediately appreciate, but when we see the great things in this world, we should understand that they are actually sparks of the real greatness of Kṛṣṇa. So he is mentioning in this chapter a series of verses where, for example, he says, among the beasts, I am the lion. Among the fish, I am the shark. Among the immovable mountains, I am the Himalayas. So in this way, he is giving us a glimpse of his greatness by showing the great things in this world. Because after all, everything is created by Kṛṣṇa, whether the Himalayas, or whether the lion, or whether the elephant, or whether the shark. The extraordinary courage and power of a lion, the authority that it commands in the forest, that is, majestic. It's a majestic animal. So although it is terrifying, it's terror, but that kind of power, that kind of agility, that kind of courage, unless empowered by Kṛṣṇa, nothing can display that. No one can display such power. And Kṛṣṇa is not only the source of all the powerful, but is also the source of all the weak, who are not so powerful. He's also the source of those who are not so great. He's the source of everything. But to appreciate the greatness of Kṛṣṇa, to help us appreciate his greatness, he's just picking some examples of greatness in this world. So here in this particular verse, he is saying, Dyutam chalayatam asmi. Chalayatam. Of all cheats, I am gambling. So one of the four principles, regulative principles that we follow as devotees of Kṛṣṇa is that we don't gamble. We don't engage in gambling. So four things are: no eating meat, no meat eating, no illicit sexual connections. That means outside marriage or even within marriage. It's only supposed to be for procreation, for um, begetting children. And that too, taking responsibility of those children to ensure that they do not take another birth in this material world, but this should be their last. That is the real education a parent should be concerned with. Nowadays, parents are very concerned with sending their child to the school as early as possible. Sometimes they cheat on the age. In India, they modify the birth certificate or what. They put 1 year younger so that he can save 1 year and can educate himself faster. They're very particular about material education. But you see, I would actually want that fan to be switched off. You know what? It very subtly affects the sound. There is a subliminal sound that will be there in the live stream. So, the parents like to cheat like that with the age of their children. But what is actually happening is they are cheating the child. They think they're actually helping the child. They're actually cheating the child. The whole education system is a cheating education system. Because all that we learn in that education is how to earn a livelihood. That's all it is. A little bit of general knowledge, a little bit of this and that, but nothing that will really help how to live our lives properly. Who are we? Before we understand anything about it, we must know who we are actually. That's the first step in education. After PhD, the person doesn't even have ABCD knowledge of himself. Who am I? Why did I take birth? Why do I die? I don't want to. What happens after death? Is there anything? What happened before birth? Was there anything? These are the questions we should ask. And when there was no extraordinary distractions like what we have today, even if you just, look at the night sky. Now you cannot see anything because of the light pollution. Nightlife is so prominent that we can't see the night sky really. Maximum the moon, that's all. But when you are in a place where there is no light pollution, you can see the whole sky filled with stars. There's not even a millimeter of space without stars. That congested it is. I had this experience very few times in my life. And the last time it was, I think, 12 years ago, when we were in New Zealand. So we were in this farm, right? It's almost in the wilderness. And it was in the bank of a river. And we were sleeping in the night. And it turned dark very late in the night, almost 10 something. And after that, it was beautiful, and if you just lie down, and stare in the sky, you will start to think, why is this whole creation even there? Like, why there is such a vast creation? Are we the only persons in that whole creation? In this entire vastness, are we the only people? Is this the only planet that gives life? So all these questions we should ask, and not just ask. We should actively look for answers. And when Kṛṣṇa sees that sincerity of purpose, this person really wants to know, then he will connect us to the proper channel of knowledge, which is the parampara system. He will get us in contact with the Guru, with the Bhagavad Gita, with all this knowledge which has everything. My own experience was like that. I was very science oriented when I was a teenager, and I wouldn't accept anything without some proof, without substantial proof. And so when Bhagavad Gita came into my life, my brahmachari actually sold it to me to take this book. I said, I wasn't too challenging, but I was like hesitating. But then he said, Albert Einstein read this book. Okay, then I should read it. Because that's the role models we are taught, in school. So he read, okay. He also said that all the questions that you have, if you have any, all the answers are in this book. And I had many questions about existence, so that's why I was actually studying Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, quantum physics, whatever I can, as a hobby. So when he said that, okay, you know what, there's no harm in trying, let me actually try and read it. And boy, was I surprised. Actually, I did not think that Bhagavad Gita was a scientific, very logical and very um, sensible book. I mean, I thought it was religious, sentimental book, you follow it or go to hell kind of book. There's not really any reasoning, just some stories or what. I was thinking something like that. I had no idea what it was. But when I read, even in the second chapter, first chapter is just questions of Arjuna, his confusions. The second chapter, Krishna starts speaking, and it was already, I was blown away. In the very first verses of Bhagavad Gita itself. Then eventually I lost all interest in the so-called physics and mathematics of this world. So, anyway, the point is, human life is meant to find answers for these things. So, but what happens when parents are so particular that they want to educate the child materially? They're so anxious for that. But there is no effort, unfortunately, to educate the child spiritually at all. And when we ask sometimes, please, come for the Bhagavad Gita classes and for the children's classes we have, they say, you know what, he's busy, he has tuitions in the weekends and swimming classes, some martial arts classes, dance classes. They have booked the child for life. There is no time for Krishna at all. No time for themselves. Learning everything but the most essential part of knowledge. So, dharman bhagavadaniha kaumaram acharit prajna. From 5 years old, one must start this knowledge. Otherwise, Dyutam, we are gambling with life. You know how serious actually this matter is. We should have some context on how serious this matter is, because we do not know the rarity of the chance that we have right now. Sitting here as human beings, we fail to really capture the rarity of this opportunity. Because it's not just because, if you count the number of species and the number of creatures in this world, we are a very minute, absolute minority. That's true. But more than that, we have spent, we are eternal. First thing we learn in Bhagavad Gita, we are eternal. The soul never dies, never takes birth. It changes bodies like we change dresses every day. So we have these different dresses or different bodies, sometimes in human bodies, sometimes it's a tree, sometimes insect, reptile, fish. So there are 8.4 million species like that all over the universe. And every planet is filled with life. Even the moon, the Chandrayaan mission couldn't find anything. But they cannot find anything. Because life on other planets is not exactly like life on this planet at all. Just like I can't live in the water, but there are other living entities living in the water. Just because I can't live, not that nobody can live. But at least in this planet, we can see something. We can perceive something. But there is life that is beyond our sense perception at all, completely. Like even, let's not speak about other planets. Even on this planet, there are ghosts. Some people believe in them, some people don't. Krishna says, what is that? Bhutani anti bhutejya. There are ghosts. And there is explanation about actually what ghosts are. Ghosts are those people who are so sinful that in their human life that they don't get another life and another body, and they get stuck in the subtle body. So there are two bodies which we have. The soul, Atma, has a subtle body which is the mind, intelligence and ahankar. Mana, buddhi, ahankar. Ahankar is the false ego. We usually, connote ahankar with this idea of pride or vanity or hubris, but that's not exactly ahankar. That's the inflated version of ahankar. But ahankar means I am the doer. The sense of false identification. When I think I am this body, that's ahankar. There is true ahankar, which is what is my real identity, what I actually am. I am a servant of Kṛṣṇa. That's what I really am. But we forget that. We are Atma, Aham Brahmasmi, and what is that? Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are Krishna's Amsha. or part and parcel. So that's our real identity. But now we are thinking, I am this body. I am a man, I'm an Indian, or I'm a Chinese, Japanese, or the dog is thinking I'm a dog, I'm a stronger dog than this dog. So we are now thinking that we are this body. And that's the problem. We are already being cheated. That's called the false ego. So there is a subtle body of Mana Buddhi Ahankar, and there's this Jada Sharira, which is the body that we can see: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So ghost means he gives up this body, but in his subtle body, he still is attached to this body. So for those who can see ghosts, they have forms. It's like an ethereal form. It's like a airy form. And they have the form of their previous life because they identify in their mind with that form which they left. And they are not pious enough to get another body, so they are stuck there. It's a very, very painful situation, actually, ghost life. So anyway, so we can't see the ghosts. Some people can, like our temple president, Singapore. From when he was born, he can see. He and one of his sisters, they can see. Their father can see, but others could not in their family. But they're there. Just because we cannot see it, it's not that there's no such thing. People get scared because they actually do not know what they are, and it's just a fear of the unknown. But the reality is, they have certain type of body which we cannot see. Similarly, higher than the ghosts are the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, the Charanas, the Vidyadharas, the Upadevas, then the Rakshasas, then the Devas. Then there are the sons of Brahma, like the Manu and the other sages of the higher planets, even higher than Swargaloka. These are very subtle bodies. They're not like this body, like gross flesh and blood. No. So we can't see them at all. So Moon is one of the heavenly planets, actually. We can go with our spacecraft. We'll find nothing. It looks like there's not even air. But actually, it's one of the heavenly planets. The kind of enjoyment they have is many thousands of times that of the earth. It's hard to believe now. It's hard to believe. But I just gave you one example of the ghosts who are already here. It's not like another planet. They're already here. We can't see them still. So things are possible. And Vedas actually give very clear description of all these things. So this is actually very interesting knowledge in every respect, material and spiritual. So now we are being cheated in our lives when we only focus on the material subject. So we have to first of all understand that how valuable human life is. Many millions of lives we have taken in different subhuman species like the animals and plants. And after millions and billions of years, we have gotten this chance of human life. And it stays for a very short time. What is the difference between animal and human life? We have dharma. We can understand God if we put some effort. By God's help. We cannot our own way. We cannot do it on our own. When we listen to God's instructions, we can understand God. That's why, like a dog cannot sit here and understand Bhagavad Gita, but we can if we have interest. So we have to use that opportunity to solve this problem once and for all in this life. Otherwise, we are destined to take another body, and it might not be human. It can be again back to the animals. And it takes another millions of years again to come back to human life. So it's a huge gamble. We are gambling if we are not making the short time the most of it. If you're not making the most of it. Like they say, grab the opportunity of a lifetime within the lifetime of that opportunity. Grab the opportunity of a lifetime within the lifetime of that opportunity. Because the opportunity won't last long. When it is there, just grab it. And this is lifetime, an opportunity of millions and billions of lives. And we are just throwing it away like garbage. Or we are like the miser. A person who does not use his human life for spiritual advancement is a miser. You know what's a miser? He has so much money, but he doesn't use anything. He doesn't spend. He just keeps it and he's happy with just looking at it. That is called in Sanskrit Kṛṣṇa. It kind of sounds like the English word cripple. He's crippled in his head. Kṛṣṇa. It's the opposite of the word Brahmana. Brahmana is very liberal. He fully utilizes his human life to the fullest extent. And how is he a miser? A person who does not use his human life in spiritual advancement. That's because if you have wealth, for example, you have $1 million, and if I don't spend for anything, and I'm happy looking at the money, that's it. What real gain is there in that? What is the gain in that? And if I don't spend, what is the use of that money? I'm just living like a poor man. What is the real? So we have this great treasure in this human life that we can understand. We can make a complete permanent solution for every single problem. Every single problem exists because we have taken birth here. That's the real. We can try to solve all the problems in this world by inventing a solution and making money out of it. They call it innovation and problem solving skills or whatever. They'll give it good names to make it sound good. But actually, the real problem is we have taken birth. As long as we have taken birth, we will have to go through all kinds of trials and tribulations and finally ending in death. And that's not the end. Again, another cycle starts of birth. So it goes on and on. So real solution of all problems is to stop the cycle of birth and death once and for all. That means after this death is going to happen for sure. Because this body has taken birth, it has to go. But I should not take another birth again. And how serious are we about it? How many of us actually want to come back to take another birth in this world? Who really wants? If given a chance. No one really wants. But how serious are we to not want it? Because our actions don't speak like that. Our mind will say, yeah, you know what, this world is troublesome. I don't want to come back here. Okay, then where you want to go? What other information of life do you have? Is there any better life? And then, to go there, what preparations have you done? Like when suppose I have a ticket to, say, another country, say in 3 days' time. Or if I have to go, forget about 3 days, like if I have to go to another country, I need a visa, I need to make so many preparations to actually go there, right? Finally ending in packing all the luggage and making sure I'm not carrying any sharp objects in my hand baggage and putting that in the second bag. All these kind of things. That's the last minute. But all the way from booking tickets, visa, booking tickets, and making all the arrangements, that you have so many preparations to do. So that when you land there, you have somewhere to go, hotels booked or whatever, some arrangement, right? Similarly, this is a journey. Elon Musk is going to Mars, trying to go to Mars. Our journey is much bigger than what he's doing. We are trying to go to Golok Vrindavan, which is way farther than Mars, way farther than any single galaxy or planet in this universe. Vaikuntha is beyond this universe. And that's where we are going. And it doesn't happen with rockets. And it doesn't happen with spacesuits. That's not how it happens. He may try all he wants. He's going to be frustrated in his attempts. That's for sure. Because we know from Bhagavad Gita, we don't need to experiment and understand. That's the thing. We don't need to waste our time spending our whole life like what he's doing. Whole life. Yeah, he's a genius. No doubt. Misused intelligence. Misused intelligence. Unfortunate, but it's the truth. To take off a rocket and then make it land back and capture it with, robotic arms, it's no easy feat. And we're not denying that. Oh, that's something stupid. No, it requires a lot of intelligence, but it's misused intelligence. Just because something is difficult doesn't mean it is to be done or it is meaningful. Just because it is difficult does not mean it is meaningful. So what is actually meaningful? Like there is this example. It doesn't matter how high you are on the ladder when you're climbing. It matters more to which building it is leaning on. whether the right building or the wrong building. If the ladder is in the wrong building, if I climb so high, I'm in the wrong building now. I mean, so which building is the ladder leaning on, first of all? That is even more important. You have to ascertain that before even climbing, whether it's worth even the climb. So this journey to the other planets that they're trying to do is a failure. It's a complete failure, because Krishna says, this is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. We don't need to waste our time like this, experimenting, going and seeing what is there, whether there's life. Let's take some samples. No. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino juna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. In one verse, in 4 lines, in less than a minute, Krishna is saying, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Leave Mars. 2 people are stuck in the International Space Station. Stuck for 8 months. Going to be 10 months. They can't get them down to Earth. You want to go to Mars. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And you see, this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Martyo mrityu vyala bhita palayan lokan sarvan nirbhayam nadhyagachat tvat padabjam prapya yadrichayadya sustha shete mrityurasmadapaiti. You see, no one in this material world has become free from the 4 principles of birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. But now that you have appeared, O my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. Don't think that this moving to other planets is like, we're at the pinnacle of civilization and the advanced. Nothing. They already spoke about millions of years ago. This is going on. They were doing much better off at that time. Kardama Muni, millions of years ago, Kardama Muni, he was a brahmachari in the forest. And Swayambhuva Manu, he was meditating in the forest without even a proper shelter. Swayambhuva Manu is the father of mankind. He came with his daughter Devahuti. She was a great princess, and he gave her to this man, Kardama Muni. And they got married. And although she was a princess, she served him very menially, very humbly, very without any complaint in the forest. And eventually she became very thin and frail. And Kardama Muni was, focused on his, tapasya and everything. And one day he took pity on her. Okay, you know what? We will go on a joyride. And just like that, with his mystic power, he created an aeroplane. A plane, the first class seat in today's aeroplane will be like a prison house compared to that aeroplane. In that aeroplane, there is a huge city, palace, gardens, lakes, parks, everything, and even birds and maidservants and everyone. And that whole thing, he was traveling not only on this planet, to all the planets of the universe. He was traveling, and they were having joyrides in all the gardens of the universe. And then they came back. And he was just like a yogi in the forest, just Muni, meditating. This all got done already before. Now what they're doing is very, very gross version of those technology which they used to have, the yogic powers that they used to have. This is a very gross version of it. But the point is, it's a place of misery. There is one personality in our Vedic history called Trishanku. It's a long story, but basically he wanted to go to heavenly planets, and the heavenly Devatas, they did not allow him. They pushed him downward. And Vishwamitra wanted to send him up without any qualification. You have to be qualified to go to these planets. But he wanted to go without qualification. So Vishwamitra tried to push him, and then the Devatas pushed him down, and he was suspended in space, like these 2 people in space station. Suspended, cannot go anywhere. Suspended in space. So, cheats. Dyutam chalayatam. If we want to be cheated, Krishna will send the best cheater. He is himself the biggest cheater, first of all. If we try to cheat him, we cannot. He's always 10 steps ahead of us. Like Hiranyakashipu. He wanted to do what? He wanted to become immortal. Immortal. Just like the scientists today also, they're trying to do that. Stem cell, whatever they're trying. Let them try. So he wanted to become immortal, Hiranyakashipu. Weak tapasya he did to satisfy Brahma. So after 100 years of tapasya, Brahma came and he said, I want to become immortal. So Brahma said, I myself am not immortal. What is it? My lifetime is very long, but I am not immortal. Then he said, okay. Then he was disappointed, but he said, you know what? I should not lose this chance. Whatever I have, I will just ask. So he said, I should not be killed in the day, in the night, by any weapon, by any man, by any animal, by any devata, inside any enclosure like a building or outside. Everything, in the morning, night. He just spelled out the whole, whatever he would think of. Brahma said, okay, that is possible. Then Brahma went, disappeared. Hiranyakashipu thought, I cheated Brahma. I got immortality by backdoor. So what happened? Narasimhadev came finally. He was offending his own son, Prahlad, who was a great devotee. Then Narasimhadev came and killed him. He kept intact all the benedictions. He was not killed in the day or night, but in the twilight. Not inside, outside, doorstep. Not with the weapon, with nails. Not human, not animal, half human, half animal. Nor any devata, because he is the supreme lord. Every condition he kept intact and still killed him. He wanted to cheat, but Krishna is always bigger cheater than us. And in the gambling, in this world, gambling is the epitome of cheating. Because like even in the Mahabharata, gambling match, what happened? Everything they lost. And of course, the other party cheated. So in this greed for money, people do anything for gambling. They will cheat. They will do all kinds of things. And it will lead us to so much pain. So many families get destroyed because of gambling. Right? So many families get destroyed. They opened in Singapore. What is that? Casino. They're opening one more, I think. Big plan they have. That's what I heard. Marina Bay. Wow. Already casino not enough. So they opened that one. And then they opened another council, government council. What is that? Department for counseling for problem gambling. They opened one casino and then a council to advise those who are addicted to gambling. So that those who go there and face some troubles, we have counseling sessions here. Come. Why you create a problem and then what? I don't understand. As if problems are not enough, more problems. There's a revenue, whatever they will say. But, this is one of the sinful activities. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. These are the 4 principles we follow. Of course, everything is a gamble. Everything is a gamble. If I start a business, that is a gamble also. I don't know whether I'm going to. But some informed decision must be there. And gambling, there's nothing you can do about it. Unless you cheat or something. And then that will become mafia and big organized cheating and whatever. So, this is a problem. So, Dyutam chalayatam asmi. And we can see, I think, in one of the Dashavatar, Chalayasi vikramane balimadbhuta vamana padanakhani rajanita jana pavana keshavadhrita vamana rupa jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare. So this is Dashavatar Stotra of Jayadev Goswami, and this particular verse is about Vamana Dev. Everything about the incarnation was full of cheating. First of all, he came as a dwarf, became big. What kind of a dwarf is that? Cheating. All glories to Lord Kṛṣṇa, who assumed the form of a dwarf. O Lord of the universe, who take away everything inauspicious for the devotees. Oh wonderful Vamana Dev, you tricked. Chalayasi. Dyutam chalayatamasmi. Here. Chalayasi vikramane balim. You tricked the great demon Bali Maharaj by your steps. The water that touched the nails of your lotus feet when you pierce through the covering of the universe purifies all living entities in the form of the river Ganga. So he tricked Bali Maharaj, but that trick is beneficial for Bali Maharaj. When Bali Maharaj offered everything, he became the greatest of Mahajans. So Kṛṣṇa, in fact, there is a nice song. I think I opened in one of these. I think for the live audience. We don't have that much time, but you see, this is actually, you know what this song is called? Chorashtakam. Celebrating Kṛṣṇa as the thief. He's chore. Usually chore means punished. But here there is a song for this chore. So Kṛṣṇa's greatness is not only one-sided, all-sided. I think I should make it enabled for the live audience. Give me a moment. So Chorashtakam, you see. व्रजे प्रसिद्धं नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनानां चदुकूलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचौरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि. So like this 8 verses are there. So especially in this part, and in fact, Bilumangal Thakur, who wrote this song, in the last 2 verses, he says, you are such a big chore, you are such a big thief, you steal the hearts of your devotees, you steal, their desire to enjoy this material world, and big rich people also give up everything and become sannyasis to become your devotees. So you are such a big chore. So thieves are usually in prison. So Bilumangal Thakur says, I imprison you within my heart and you will stay there for millions of years. Very beautiful song. So, of course, this song is we can't go through the whole song, but you should read this. You see, O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. See, I will not release you for millions of aeons. So in that way, he writes this beautiful song. So there's a Chorashtakam for the stealing of Kṛṣṇa. So in this way, he is the Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. He is the greatest of all cheaters. We cannot be a greater cheater than him. So better thing is to just surrender to him. Why you want to cheat Kṛṣṇa? We are cheating ourselves. When you hit a mountain with your fist, nothing is going to happen to the mountain, right? The fist will break. Why unnecessary? Surrender. Why the stupid attempt to beat the mountain? Just surrender. That's it. So we have to be intelligent. Kṛṣṇa, although he is the greatest cheater, and nobody can cheat better than him, but he will cheat those who try to cheat him or cheat themselves. But those who are sincere, he will be the most sincerest of friends. What did he say? Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam. Suhridam means friend, and not just any friend. There are different types of friends. There are different words for the word for the meaning of friend. Some are mitra, sakha, bandhu. All these are friends. But suhridam, suhrid means heart, hridayam, hrid, heart. So suhrid means one who is deeply from the heart. Su means like swagatam. Swagatam is actually what? Su plus agatam. Agatam means come. Su means good. Ku means bad. It's opposite. Su and ku. Kvagatam means we are basically saying that come, I'll beat you up, something like this. So inauspicious welcome. But swagatam means, and they say suswagatam, su agatam. So it's like double. So in that way, what we were saying, I lost my track. So anyway, Kṛṣṇa, we have to. Oh, we are here. Yes. So we have to be very careful when we become Kṛṣṇa conscious. We have to be not cheating. Suhrit, that's where I was. So Kṛṣṇa won't cheat if we don't cheat ourselves. If we cheat, then Kṛṣṇa, okay, you want to get cheated, okay, take. We try to cheat Kṛṣṇa and then he will try to cheat. So Suhrit means from the heart, he is very well-wishing friend. Deeply well-wishing friend. Let's see how well-wishing he actually is. This is actually how well-wishing he is. Brihad Bhagavatamrita 2.483. Asmin nihe haiva bhave bhave madunmukha ityashaya tavatyantam nartitosmi sadagyavat. So here he says, Kṛṣṇa is saying, the Lord in the Vaikuntha, when this devotee came back to Vaikuntha after his material world, after being in this material world away from the Lord for so long, what the Lord said, for so long, hope had me dancing like a fool, thinking, perhaps in this lifetime, or this lifetime, or this lifetime, he will finally turn his face to me. So you see, what he's saying here is, he's in our heart. Even when we were a pig and cockroach, he was in our heart, making sure that we will have our food and make sure our life is sustained. In all those abominable species of life, he has been as our real well-wishing friend in our heart, accompanying the Atma. The Paramatma is there in every single heart. So he is waiting and waiting and waiting when we will turn to him. How much patience he has. And why should he be even interested in us? What do we have a good quality that he should be so interested in us? Nothing. He is the greatest of the great. Why should he even be concerned about us? We are so small and minute and despicable, to be honest. And why should he be interested in a person like us? If somebody was our friend for a while and then they betray us, we will feel, what is this? He betrayed my friendship. And we feel immediately sour about it. But Kṛṣṇa is so kind that even when we went completely against him for millions and billions and trillions of years, actually there's no count. Anadi karma phale, pade bhavan navjale. Since time immemorial, we have been in this material world. And he has so much hope in us that every single life he is thinking as he is sitting beside us, perhaps in this lifetime, see? Perhaps in this lifetime, or this, he will finally turn his face towards me. Thinking thus, he was dancing. Just imagine, this life is going to come back to me. This life, he's excited, he's dancing. And the idiots that we were, we never turned once. Ungrateful idiots, worst scum of the earth. That's what we have been. Not once turned to him. In fact, deride him. There's no God. So many lifetimes we said like that. And still, he provides even our tongue to say those words. The tongue given by who? Our mother. Mother doesn't know anything what is going on. That's why they're killing their babies in the womb nowadays. Abortion. They don't know actually what is going on. They think it's some tissue, some whatever. Why don't we eat some tissue paper? They don't even know what it is inside. What's going on? Who created the tongue? to say those nonsense words that there is no God, there is no, like, and there was a meme, 2012, 2012, Stephen Hawking says there is no God. 2019, God says there is no Stephen Hawking. That's the reality. That's it. So he's already, his existence is so miserable. He is stuck in a chair. He cannot even move. Yeah, genius. What is he use? He should have been what is genius actually? He's a fool, honestly, to be very honest. To know all of that and to deny the creator of all, it's just absolute abject, foolishness. So, we are not criticizing anybody who's suffering, but there has to be some brain. I'm suffering. Kṛṣṇa, please, oh Lord, please help me. Something at least. No, there is no God. So much pride, even in that suffering condition. Not one thought. Why am I in this condition? What is my karma? Please, nothing. The thought even did not come. Or at least be humble enough. I don't know. At least say I don't know. No, there is no God. So sure. Okay. Kṛṣṇa is also sure what he wants to do to you. But you see, hope had me dancing. Kṛṣṇa is saying this. Like a fool. He called himself a fool. Kṛṣṇa is so kind that he called himself a fool. He's not calling us fool anymore. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, he said, you are a fool, if he, Narathama, he is the worst of mankind who doesn't surrender to me. He said all of that. He said so much that, he is thinking, actually, you know what? I am fool. To have any hope in you, I am the fool actually here. He's saying, Ajnavat. Ajna means those who have no brain. He called himself the fool. I am the brainless guy actually, not you. I was dancing with great hope, but I should not have made it. But out of love, he does that. That much he's kind. That much he's suhrit. That much he's our friend. So at least, now that we have little intelligence, we can think. Now at least we should turn to him. Hey, what have I done? At least now I should change. That's our whole point here. We've all made mistakes. None of us are, and like they say, every thief has a future, every saint has a past. Means now he's a saint, but he had a past which was complete opposite. He was something else. Either in this life or a previous life, we have been, absolute scums of the earth. But now at least we can become saint. And you see, Kṛṣṇa is so kind. You see, here he said, hope had been dancing. 7:19. See what he says here. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevah sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. What is saying? After many births and deaths, revolving like an idiot in this material world, after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. He's calling him Mahatma. Actually, he should have, okay, now at least you came to your senses. Okay, finally. But no, he's considering it as such a great thing that he's calling such a person as Mahatma. But actually, he has been a Duratma for millions of years. Bahunam Janmanamante. For many millions of lifetimes, he has been an absolute rascal. But now he is coming. Immediately, Kṛṣṇa is so kind that he is calling him Mahatma. And surrender to me. Kṛṣṇa is not some, power greedy person who wants everybody to bow down at his feet. Otherwise, I'll kill you. I will make you suffer. No, it's like a child. If a small child, like 5 years old, if she or he just goes out onto the road, not taking any protection of the parents will worry for such a child. But if the child surrenders to the parent, and be in safety, then it's actually good for the child. So surrender, when he says surrenders unto me, Kṛṣṇa is relieved that we don't have to suffer anymore. Kṛṣṇa is relieved. Actually, he's more anxious to take us back than we are to go back. We say that, I don't want to come back here. But actually, we are not serious about going back to Vaikuntha. Because if we are serious, then all our activities will show that. Like how much time, how much energy, how much will I invest myself into this process? That's the extent to which I'm serious. Saying this does not work. Lip service does not work, right? It has to translate into action. But actually, he is more like he has been dancing for lifetimes and millions of them. He has been dancing alongside us. So he's way more anxious to bring us back. Just that we don't want to surrender to that mercy of Krishna. And that's why it pains him actually. It pains him that we are not surrendering to him and taking his shelter. Yeah. Although he's always happy, but his unhappiness is when he sees us unhappy. You may ask, then why did he create this material world like this? He could have just made it happy now. Well, that's a whole description of that. We don't have time. Actually, he made it perfect. We ourselves made our own problems. He made it perfect. When we came into this material world first from Vaikuntha, we came as Brahma, We came as the overlord chief of the entire universe. We came like that first. Our first life was Brahma. From there, we demoted ourselves until we became worm in the stool. In the stool of the animal, we have been a worm. We have gone solo because of our own actions. It's not that, when something happens, when a child dies in some accident, immediately people say there's no God. Very simplistic understanding of whether God is there or not. That's not how you test. Or a child is killed in the womb itself before even coming out killed by the own mother. Is there God then? Why those things happen? Because they did something in their past life. Of course, this life maybe they're innocent, right? Of course, a child, what a child can do, innocent. But last life, something they did to maybe another child. Karma is always there. It will not go anywhere. That does not mean, children can be, let them die, everything, let it happen, whatever happens. No. The only way karma can be changed only when we surrender to Krishna. Krishna says this. So that's what we have to offer to people, really. That's real welfare activity. What is that? Sarva dharman parityajyam mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. You see this? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. From all papa, from all sin, I will give you moksha. And he says, if we at all doubt that, he says, Ma sucha. Next two words. Ma sucha means don't worry, I will do it. Assurance, double assurance. What we should do to get that? Sarva dharman parityajya. All our so-called dharma we have to give up. What is this? Dharma give up. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Mamekam. You have to surrender to me exclusively. Not having one foot here and one foot there. Not like Krishna also, but also other devatas. Krishna condemns them. In 9th chapter, 7th chapter, 23rd and 23rd, both 23rd verses of the 7th and 9th chapter. He condemns. Avidhi purvakam, alpamedhasa. Those who are not very intelligent, they take to the worship of other devatas. We are not condemning devatas. They are very great servants of Krishna. But to worship them as if they are equal to Krishna, absolute offense. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivatehi Samatvenaiva Viksheta Sa Pashandi Bhavetruvam. Pashandi means atheist, those who consider even such greatest of devatas like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra to be equal to Narayan. He is an atheist who considers like that. So Hinduism, first of all, Hinduism is not our religion at all. Sanatana Dharma, the word Hinduism does not exist in our Shastra, so please, that's the name given by the Muslims. We are so proud to be Hindu, but we don't even know where the name came from. Sanatana Dharma. The Devatas themselves are not happy when you worship them. They are just accepting because, they are proxies, they are given that duty, they accept. But they are really happy when we serve Krishna. And we just made a book, we released the book. Why worship only Krishna? And some people actually accuse us, Hindus accuse us. Oh, this is Abrahamic, this is like, the Abrahamic religions which say there's only one God. We are more free. We have freedom of expression, freedom of worship, freedom of whatever ideology. We are not like into the rules and regulations. It's a way of life. All these words. Have you read one verse of Bhagavad Gita first of all? Have you read first of all what Kṛṣṇa is saying? Why did he say Sarva Dharman Parityajya? How difficult it is to understand. If you understand any Indian language, you will understand this. Except Tamil language. Tamil a little bit different sound. But every other Indian language, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Parityag means what? To give up. Every other form of dharma, give up. And Mam Ekam. Eka. How difficult it is to understand. Mam means me. This is like absolute basic Sanskrit. It's not even like a complicated Sanskrit. Sharanam Vraja. Surrender to me. Alone. Exclusively. Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshesha. Once we surrender to Kṛṣṇa, all the devatas, everybody is satisfied. See, Yat Prenanat Barhishi Devatiriyan Manushya Virutranamavirinchad Priyeta Sadyah Saha Vishwajivah Pritah Swayam Pritimagadgayasya. When the Supreme Lord is pleased by a person's actions, automatically all the demigods, human beings, animals, birds, bees, creepers, trees, grass, and all other living entities, beginning with Lord Brahma, are pleased. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul, Paramatma of everyone, and he is by nature fully pleased. Of course, he says, nonetheless, he came to the arena. This is another incident. But you see that this is the position of the Lord, and this is also explained here. I'm not just making this up, because we are Hare Krishnas, we are just forcing, Krishna, Krishna. No. If you read Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. Yathataror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskandha bhujopashakha pranopahara chayathendriyanam tathaiva sarvarhanam achyutejya. As pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of that personality. If I put food in my stomach, my finger gets strong, my leg gets strong, my brain gets strong, everything is nourished. One place. Similarly, if we just worship Kṛṣṇa or to water the tree, however big the tree is, if you just put water on the root, automatically all parts of the tree will get this nourishment, right? Similarly, we cannot worship all the devatas. There are 330 million of them. We cannot. In our lifetime, we cannot. But if we satisfy Kṛṣṇa, in one stroke, we will satisfy all the devatas. Because they are parts and parcels of his personality. And you see what Kṛṣṇa directly says here. Just in case those who are not so conversant with this, they'll feel offended sometimes. But we are not here to offend anyone. Just tell the truth, And of course, because we are conditioned with whatever we have learned since childhood, it will be a little difficult to accept in the beginning. But if you just have a little patience and hear what Kṛṣṇa has to say in the Bhagavad Gita, and you see it's actually very evident here. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitah tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. Avidhi means vidhi. Vidhi anusar means according to rules and regulations. Avidhi purvakam means not according to rules. That's against. It's an improper way. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Because why? They are all parts and parcels of Vishnu. For example, if I see a saintly person, if I have to touch him, the proper way to touch him is touch his feet. That's the proper way to touch a saintly person. But if I go and touch his, put my hand on his shoulder, hey, how are you? Yes, that is touching also. But it's in a wrong way. It's avidhi purvakam. That's not the way you deal with a sadhu, right? Similarly, Kṛṣṇa gave this devata worship for those people who are alpamedhasa, who are not so intelligent, who are only interested in material things. He gave them. So at least, even if you touch me in a wrong way, just at least touch me somewhere. get purified somewhere. Because to worship any devata, we have to worship Vishnu first. If you observe the priests when they're chanting all the mantras, even if it's a devata puja, it has to be offered to Vishnu first. And only then it will go to the devata. That's why even the Ganesh puja they do in the beginning of every puja, actually the Ganesh is an expansion of Vishwaksena in the spiritual world, who is Vishnu himself. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashantaye. Vishnu, you have to say that first. And then acknowledge that that devata is a part and parcel of Vishnu. I want to worship that devata. That's what actually you're doing. If you know the meaning of the mantras that the priest chants, this is actually what is happening there. And even when you put the havan, the offerings into the fire, that fire is the tongue of Lord Vishnu. That Homakunda is the mouth of Lord Vishnu. And we are feeding the grains into the fire, into the mouth of Lord Vishnu, and requesting him to take to the devata whom we are trying to worship. So this is meant for less intelligent people, and the devata worship is for getting material benefits. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnu Revana Samsaya. Demigods, they can give anything except Mukti. Mukti you want? You have to go to Kṛṣṇa. And that is explained here. What is the verse? That is 714 per board, but I think, let me just gamble. Let's do some gambling. I don't know if I'm right, but so no, this is wrong. So my gambling I failed. So it's in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, where the devatas say, why I keep forgetting this verse always. I think it's okay. Let me try one more round. Gambling. Today's verse is about gambling. Yes, this time I won. Okay, so the devatas are telling Muchukunda, King Muchukunda, Varam Vrishniva Bhadram te Rite Kaivalyamadhyanaha Eka Eveshwarastasya Bhagavan Vishnuravyayah. The devatas, all the devatas told him, all good fortune to you, King Muchukunda. Now please choose a benediction from us. Anything but liberation. Except liberation or mukti, you ask anything. Since only the infallible Supreme Lord Vishnu can bestow that. So try to understand. So he said Avidhi Purvakam, and this particular verse, he says Alpamedhasam. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam. Medhasa means intelligence. Alpamedhasa. Sumedhasa means very intelligent. Alpamedhasa means very little intelligence, not much intelligence. So tad bhavati alpamedhasam. Devan deva yajoyanti madbhaktayanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So what I'm saying is based on Shastrik Pramana, evidence. I'm quoting, I'm not saying this out of mind just because I want to say something to agitate people. No. But this is the truth. That's why we have to listen to Bhagavad Gita. Then we will know actually what to do. So anyway, there is more aspects to this verse which we don't have time to discuss. We'll stop here. Anybody has any questions or comments? Anything that is not clear? Otherwise, we'll stop here. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanand.